What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we got a giant content update that has a ton for everyone to check out with some great changes and reworks which I can't wait to show you. I'll do my best to explain all the new content as briefly as I can, but make sure to try it out for yourself in-game. Let's get right into it. The major focus of today's content patch is the full visual overhaul and combat rework of the entire Jetstriker Oath. Surprisingly, throughout all of Deepwoken's lifespan, it's the first ever Oath to be reworked, so let's get into it. I'll be comparing the new and old aspects to best understand what has changed. Starting off strong, the old OG Jetstriker Oath appearance was an extremely cluttered, swirling cyclone of Jetstriker wind. There were many complaints from the community about this design because it was overwhelming on our character. Although this original design was a bit too busy, we could and still can dye our Jetstriker aura. The new design is much cleaner with sleeker and smaller shackles of song-powered wind near the base of our character's ankles. I really prefer how this design has changed, and again, we can also dye its appearance however we like. Moving on to gameplay, the actual Jetstriker card hasn't changed at all. We still have access to an extra wildcard mantra, mobility mantra, and some extra passive agility, but there are some card merges. Something different that was changed about the base Jet Oath was the merging of prevailing westerlies into the base talent. You still gain momentum faster while running, which is now just a part of the Jetstriker Oath obtainment. Back to the old, Jetstriker's previous gameplay revolved around the slow gain of a unique resource called momentum. Basically, you would only gain momentum while sprinting, running around, and finally breaking out of parry traits to build up speed. I'm sorry to say, but this concept made combat ironically slower because Jetstriker players were forced to run around to get use out of their talents, and it sucked. Also, at max speed, your character would have a brief outline to indicate your max momentum. The new system of Jetstriker is pretty similar, but way more optimized when it comes to combat. Changed from before, we can now view our built-up momentum as we sprint around, indicated by the previous glowing outline and new momentum meter. Although running does grant momentum, the main way you want to build up speed is through parrying, dodging, and landing basic attacks. In both the old and the new, we keep a talent called Rush of Ancients. Unchanged from the old Jetstriker design, we can dodge around with a better dash if we do have max momentum, and again, this has not changed. Another old momentum talent, Decisive Winds, lets the Jetstriker gain max momentum after hitting 50%, which has not changed in this rework, and it's kept the same. Stratos Steps, the Jetstriker Geppo, was slightly changed for the sake of balance. In the past, you could scale walls easily with very little downside, and nobody could really do anything about it. In this update, Stratos Steps works in exactly the same way, but now it places a wind step that other people can follow. This should be better for chasing and for the sake of balance. Back to the OG Jetstriker, the main reason why players disliked how momentum worked, besides the better dodges, was due to a talent called Vigil's Grace. Running attacks at max momentum allowed a hard knockdown dash attack, and this was definitely not a good idea. Although it was fair to fight against and fair to use, Jetstrikers were incentivized to run around and gain so they can get their combo started, which removed all engagement from 1v1 fights. This hard knockdown running attack and the talent were removed entirely. Instead, we've gained another way to build momentum with the talent Acceleration Points. By hitting players in the back with mobility mantras as well as your weapon M1s, you gain a huge boost in momentum while taking away theirs, which is great for maintaining pressure since it slows and snowballs. It's a good way to extend your advantage and a great alternative to instead leaving combos to actually use the Oath. Something new that was also added in this rework was the re-addition of a talent, Vanishing Follow-Up. This isn't actually the same talent name, but it has basically the same application. On successful flourish, we TP to our opponent and gain momentum to get our combo started, and that's all it is. Let's get right into Jetstriker Mantras. The first attack is Jet Kick, which has multiple different uses, so out of combat, Jet Kick acts as a dashing sort of attack that sends you in any direction you face, and it also does damage still. Now, if you're aiming at somebody, you can teleport to the closest target and follow where they go with a similar type attack. At maxed out momentum, the attack does increase posture and normal damage, and the visual is also updated to indicate the buff. The final Jetstriker mantra is Fake Strike, and no, it's not a counter, but an actual attack. This mantra is actually a fake strike, and if this fake strike were to land, command, we teleport behind our target and hit them with a barrage of kicks. This might be a pretty good mix-up tool against players, and I'm happy with how these mantras turned out. As of right now, that's all for Jetstriker, and let's keep going. Frost Grab, a very old Frost Draw mantra, has also received a rework. The old version of Frost Grab was legit just that. Grab your target, pierce them with ice, and slap them back down. Nothing crazy and very straightforward. With this rework, Frost Grab lets the user teleport forward, clutching anybody nearby and slamming them with multiple ice chains. This option feels more fun to use, and it seems better than the original Frost Grab. Besides this, you should notice around the map and in the sea new island events that can be checked out for bonus loot and exclusive events. All over each luminant and their seas, small unique islands have been added just to add some variety, and they spawn just like any other event. It's definitely cool to see some new islands since the game's release, and although small, they do have some pretty interesting island designs and events to explore. Moving on, you'll notice down in the depths there's a new elevator that has been added behind the Squibbo guarded Cell Tour Market. This lift is just an easier option to reach the depths trial, and it's also pretty cool looking. So instead of running around the entire map, you can choose this for a small fee of 25 notes. It's really nice that the existing map has also received quality of life updates as the game has changed. With some overall improvements, progression for the game has been boosted heavily to help players make builds that much faster. Void Zone XP multipliers have been bumped up from 1.5 times to 2 times for all event XP and attributes. Besides this, all weapon attribute XP has increased across the board to allow for faster progression with any sort of weapon. So far, I like this and I'm excited to see what they have planned for the future, but faster progression is super great. For now, I won't cover all things balance, but I need to talk about something in specific which is absolutely game-changing for PvP combat. Guard breaks and posture damage has received a solid nerf that I'm glad to see. First off, parrying a guard break attack gives massive posture to the user, which allows for nice counterplay since these options are always going to be powerful. Alongside this, after simply tap parrying, you no longer have block frames after whiffing a parry, which can be huge. For instance, if you tapped F, you'd be forced into a block, which resulted in block breaks and large combos, which people did not like. So now it's an option that players can activate themselves with the F key, so you can instead take damage that would have been blocked if you don't want to get guard broken. Options are always nice to have, and I like this. And that's all right now. Check out Battle Royale with your friends if you have a chance, since the wait for conquest still continues. Thanks so much for watching, and for even more exclusive update content, make sure to like and subscribe. We're so close to hitting 80k subs, and let's do it. Thanks again, it's punchin' time.